Hey everybody, welcome to Friendship Shaving. I hope you're having a good day today. I'm going to be shaving with a straight razor rather than a shavette razor that I've been doing a little series on recently. Do you remember ages ago I bought a little box of straight razors, and in the photographs on eBay they'd been arranged to hide the broken pieces of blade. I bought a box of mostly rubbish, but hidden at the bottom of that box was this lovely case which I've polished up, and inside there was the razor that I'm going to use today, this one here. So I use this case now. As you can see, I keep my Joseph Rogers straight razor in there and this one. So in the end, that box of razors turned out to be quite worthwhile, because for the amount that I'm paid, I'm very pleased with the case and this little razor, which says on it W.G. Whiting Limited, Manchester, and the blade is made in Germany. There is a logo on the blade. It says "Our Best." It is very faint, and it is a Geisen and Vorstoft blade. And the razor dates to about the 1920s. There's a little bit of history there, which I'll talk about in a moment. Using my restored Mohawk brush today, and the soap that I've got on there is Tabac Original. So gonna face lather again today, and we'll get on with this. I'm having a bit of a what's the word I'm looking for? Enjoying face lathering lately. And just while I'm getting this lather going and adding some water to the soap, I've got a couple of brushes that have come through the post. I've bought some boar bristled brushes. I was so pleased with the one I used the other day. That was a gift, that Omega 49. That when a couple of brushes caught my fancy, I just bought them. So we'll have a little show and tell video at some point, and I will show you what I've bought. I'm expecting another brush in the post. And I've also got a couple of items, a couple of chevettes that have been given to me. So we'll have a gifts of friendship video and a look what I've bought video as soon as the postman arrives, which now is going to be Monday, unfortunately. Now, this Tabac, as most of you know, is a terrific soap, and I was sort of prompted to use this after using the Hassling soap the other day. Because Tabac is another soap that's been around a long time, and it is just superb quality. Now that will do. I think I could probably do with some more water in this lather, but we'll try this and see how we go with a straight razor shave. It's been a little while since I've picked out a straight razor, so looking forward to this one. And And I can tell you a little bit about the shop that this razor came from, W.G. Whiting Limited from Manchester. It is part of what is the Royal Exchange. Now, originally in the 1800s, that was a cotton exchange, but it was knocked down and rebuilt in 1914. Rather unfortunate timing. And it was finally finished in 1921 when it was reopened and named the Royal Exchange in Manchester, England. There we are, we'll just get started, then I can put my glasses on. The Royal Exchange was built it was built in the middle of a block around 4 streets. And the inside of the building has this marvellous glass domed roof. And it has a clock tower on the corner, and it has this marvellous Edwardian facade, which now they've turned that into a theatre. But a wonderful building, and I believe on the Market Street side of the Royal Exchange was the shop where this razor came from. And from the information I found online, it sold all sorts of things that the gentlemen of the day would require, including spectacles and monocles, telescopes, binoculars, microscopes, barometers, razors and strops. So quite a fascinating shop really. Quite like to have a little look around there, but it is no more, unfortunately. I found it interesting that they were importing German blades. And you can see from this little bit here that it is very typical of a 1920s, 30s design. A cutlery that had these sort of, what would you call that? Cutlery looked very much like this at the time anyway. We still have some in our house. I have to say, it's a very nice little razor. I love the, it's sort of an acrylic handle. I don't know what this colouring on the tang is made from, but very, very nice indeed. It was one of those things where I thought I had just bought a load of rubbish, and then at the bottom of the box was this. And I can't tell you how pleased I was to discover it, because I really thought I'd wasted my money. So in the end I think it was about £40 I spent. I can't really remember now. one assumes that the shop would have sold other razors of the time, and I've just been following a vintage Darwin razor from the 1930s on eBay. I think the last I looked, with about 10 minutes to go, the price had risen up to, I think it was £960. So, whew, that's an incredible price. Wonder if they had some of them on sale in the 1930s for gentlemen of the time. That building, the Royal Exchange, it was bombed in the Second World War. It took a bomb right in the middle of that enclosed part, which was originally built as the biggest room in the world, sort of like an indoor arcade, and they had to rebuild it. So it is smaller than it was, but yes, I've made it into a theatre, which is wonderful. Now I should say, guys, I get all this information from the internet. I'm just interested in what I buy and what I shave with, and I look it up and try and find things or snippets of information that might interest you. And the information I found about the items that the shop would sell, I purely put in the name W.G. Whiting, Royal Exchange, Manchester, and up came a load of listings for auction houses selling some of the items that I talked about earlier. So that was how I found out that they sold quite a variety of things. And in one of the write-ups, we have a guide over here that keeps track of sort of vintage businesses. Grace's guide in there. There was a little bit on this shop, and it said it was a shop for the things that gentlemen would need. I love that. But this is just a lovely little razor. Now, when I'm using a straight, I usually take my glasses off to do that first bit, just to make sure I can see what I'm doing properly and stretch properly. Once I've done that with the first pass, I feel like I don't need to stretch so much on the second pass. And so I don't usually remove my specs for the second pass. This blade is much more, how can I put it? Much more gentle and more forgiving than the feather professional blade that I used in my last Chevette shave. Now perhaps that's because it's honed by hand. In fact, I honed this one myself. to get it sharp, and the feather blades are no doubt done on a machine. So I'm getting what I feel is a nice smooth shave. But I'm not feeling at any point that I might imminently cut myself. Whereas with the feather, especially that professional, which is a super sharp blade, I kind of get a little bit of that feeling. I think it's called danger. But it is a strange difference between a straight razor and a Chevette type blade. There we go, 2 passes. No cuts or nicks, so we're doing well. Have I spoken too soon? We shall see. Oh, I hope you're having a good day. What have you been doing, guys? I've just been taking it easy today. A nice easy lunch or dinner, whatever you call it. Nothing that I had to cook, really. Just heated something up. A lazy day. So guys, I can't wait to show you what I've bought. I'm really excited about it. But you'll have to wait, I'm sorry about that. Now this brush is brilliant. This is a Mohawk from Canada. I don't know very much information about this brush or the company. And I've only seen a very few Mohawk brushes. Now this one is, it has a number and it's a Mohawk 5341, 5-341. Now I think the 5 indicates the size of the brush, because I bought another Mohawk brush thinking it would be this size, and I got it through the other week and it is much smaller. Now this one, the number is, our survey says, 3-338, so a much smaller brush. And I have seen also online another Mohawk that the number was 6-, so I assume that's a tiny bit taller than this one. But that one, that's a brilliant brush. I just love that. It's definitely one of my favourites. I don't know if you can see in the video, but I've got some of my favourites. I've put them up above the door there. Yeah, I'm kind of building a little collection of brushes that, as I say, are my favourites, and the one I use or choose to pick up most often. But I have been trying and using off camera some bull bristle brushes, and in fact I used that the other day, and that gave a surprisingly good coverage. It was pretty good, and the unfortunate thing was it was an old knot. I perhaps should have taken more care with it, because a lot of the bristles snapped. You can perhaps see I'm able to shave quite quickly with this. I don't ever have the feeling that I might cut myself. Now, did I go that way before? I think I did, so we'll go from the middle outwards. Even there, the end of the blade just caught under my nostril there, but I was able to just stop and there was no damage there. But I know with that Feather Professional razor blade, that would have just nicked me there. So, ooh, bit of a shaky hand. I get that sometimes, guys. It's usually with my left hand, but sometimes with the right as well. I didn't have it before I had meningitis about 12 years ago now. It's a very strange thing when you're using a straight razor and then suddenly you get a tremor in your hand. So we have to be careful now and again. Well, that's my shave anyway. I'm going to put some aftershave on. There we are. We'll just rinse with some cold water. See, I don't feel the need for any arm block at all. I've had a very nice, comfortable shave with that razor from Manchester. Do you know, guys, I just love that you can find, you know, if you're lucky, razors like this from the 1920s, 30s and before that date, and they can be restored and used today, 100 years later. I just think that is an incredible thing. Something I like very much, that something has been made well and it's been made to be used and looked after, and rather than just throwing it away, you know, once you've used it for a bit. I think it's great. So today I am going to use, what's that in there? I can't remember. I'll tell you what, I'll use skin bracer, which I've got in my green jar here. And I don't have a stopper in there. And I'd forgotten about that, and skin bracer's just gone everywhere. Well guys, that was a fantastic shave. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you very soon for the Gifts of Friendship unboxing video. Take good care now. Bye bye.